OT get into those bomb sites. In fact, that's kind of what they did. You almost feel for North in that last round. 3 players coming out Palace is pretty unusual. Most focus on the defense that quick into the round is going to be towards a ramp, and they do a great job of getting into the site. It's phenomenal from Glaive.
What's the pre doing?
I don't know.
Just getting his legs already, making sure the circulation is there.
Blood's pumping. We used to do jumping jacks and push-ups in tournament areas.
Yeah, I think you told me your brother made you.
Yeah.
You made it sound like this was your thing, but you know.
No.
I remember.
Listen. All my success is due to my brother. The push-ups was mostly the thing that did it.
Without him, you'd be nothing.
Yeah.
What did he used to do? Was it jiu-jitsu or some other thing?
He was a 3rd degree black belt in Taekwondo.
My God.
Junior Olympic champion. He had the competitive thing down to a science.
Yeah, what a great older
He was
brother.
the guy who like hated chess, but he read like all the chess book theories. He liked all chess theories and everything. Never played it, just liked the theory behind it.
And then there's you, Moses.
Yeah, then there's me. Watching cartoons and eating Lucky. It's now 7 of the last 8 for Astralis. A great run to perhaps take this series.
It looks like we're switching into an A execute. And those, I mean, not a lot has to go right for these kind of plays to work out.
Yeah, but this is one of the counters to a double up setup on this map, right? Especially considering the defense that Astralis is bringing out. 3 players in the B bomb site, Device in mid window, and Glaive at stairs, the only one today. So they're about to be in for a world of hurt. Retakes are especially bad for a double op setup, and this is going to have to be the mother of all retakes.
Glaive trying to buy a tiny bit of time with the flashbang, but not really able to slow them down whatsoever. They're going to be ready in CT spawn in case anyone tries to come through. And a jump on over. Oh my God. Mixing in a bit of parkour is csgo taking down Glaive. And now it's a 4-on-5. Big news here for North Spray. Even though he's blind, Valder can't take down Magix. It's still a 4-on-4, and the bomb is down. They are out of grenades on the north side. There's a slight chance here that Astralis could win based on the last couple of grenades they have left. Maybe they could smoke off the bomb. There it is. It's actually a little bit forward. They might still be able to see this if anyone's defusing inside. And that's scary. csgo all the way in underpass. Semistel takes down one. They're trying to get the spray on in. It's a 2-on-2 now, but still coming through. csgo's in that connector there right in front, defusing, and there it is! csgo last second as the defuse was just about to come through. And he saves the round, 16-16.
That is so wild, especially because csgo had 6 HP. He took the longest route possible. He went all the way back through T-spawn, through underpass to get there. This is something. This is something else. But MSL, beautiful work as well. Spraying down 2 players on the bomb first. Runs out of ammo, trying to pull it off. He's like Tom Hanks and Saving Private Ryan with that pistol at the end, just trying to tap away. Just trying to get the desperate shot, but csgo saving the day. Back to what worked. A execute. This time there's a bit of more defense here. Magis close up. He's got 2 players ready to come through. Pop flash misses its mark, and Magis, he delivers. Precision from him, and North is slowed down.
Yeah. Even the grenade, right? He smoked it off, and then the follow-up grenade. He avoided the Molotov that was in shadow. It's a perfect defense from Magis right now. That was beautiful.
I think you had to know what was coming if you were Astralis in that round. Like we'd mentioned, they'd won 7 of 8 before that A execute and OT. That's only the second round that North had won in quite some time, and they're just like, yeah, they're going to be going back to that.
We talked about Device being maybe a little bit out of this series, but he snuck back up to 26 kills. Just 1 behind Glaive was at 27. So he's made it back quietly.
Yes. Slow and steady.
17 to 16. That means 2 more rounds is what they need on the Astralis side, and 3 in a row, or maybe 2 for North if they just want the
OT.
The double OT.
Yeah.
We like that.
Yeah?
Yeah, just...
I'm ready for it. This is a great end to the series. This has been a phenomenal, especially considering it's still the group stage. This is like a playoff level match, which is really cool.
We have been blessed, Moses, the gods of Counter-Strike.
Henry and Vince have been cursed. That's how it works.
They'll be fine, don't worry.
Here we go. Coming out of the smoke, MSL misses a bit of a sitter. Devices gets away with one. Looking for the boost over the smoke. Not going to get caught out. One player in Palace for Astralis, and actually AZ's clearing a ramp. He's pushed already to the bottom, so early on he's got a lot of information. Good nade on the device. But as long as AZ is making this play and alive, that's a problem.
Yeah, or Sib's going to catch him. The timing is just... Oh, no! He saw that, but the fence just meant I think he took an extra second because of the lineup of all the fence. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he'll be frustrated on that one. That is a huge kill, and now it kind of forces the hand of Astralis as well. They weren't quite ready to have to make a decision. And they're just getting absolutely demolished. Dismantled, and Dupree spots the leg, but I mean, North is going to be able to dispatch him. Even if AZ goes down here, there's no chance of Dupree getting anything. It's not even going to happen. Shoulder peeking to bait him into a bad fight, and we're all tied up, 17 all.
Oh, God, so much is decided in that one fight. Sip had the advantage. He walked back out of the palace. He saw him come walking. How do you even see that? That's not easy. I'm just impressed.
It is just like, why did you even spin there?
Yeah.
Literally a spidey sense.
That's really good. MSL, aggressive here and going to win that fight against Device. Really good job. 17-17. All tied up here in overtime. Astralis, great comeback for them to get into overtime. And now they're getting shut down here on the T side. Unable to make anything work so far. Zip going to get killed eventually. Why not? Yeah, grenades to follow. 18-17. North need one more round and they'll win it in overtime, which is even more impressive. Even better, isn't it?
Yeah, that is the poise that would show as well. And I mean, things that we wouldn't expect to see out of North, even after giving up the massive comeback to allow overtime to even occur. Still, like, really struggling with some of their T sides, not being able to find the winning formula until it felt too late. And now just storming back on the defense. A couple awkward timings there. Obviously, Device getting picked off by MSL, but Glaive in towards Connector. A weird double peek that you saw from the A bomb site, and he just couldn't pick a target in time. 18-17. Coming out of this timeout, it's the second one for Astralis. And they've got to force double overtime.
That is indeed what they're fighting for. Just need to win this round.
It's Glaive leading the way for Astralis. As you said, Device not far behind, 27 and 26 kills respectively. Over on the north side, it's much more concentrated. Nico's got 14, but everyone else is right between 23 and 22, 25 kills.
Yeah. Good, solid unit going on at the moment. MSL sneaking around in middle. He does get grenaded and got to fall back with the AWP. Glaive is there, but the rest are going to be coming out of the palace and ramp here. A little bit of a fight catching Dupree. He was airborne for a long time, and he ended up getting killed by it. Grenade takes down Sip, and now Nico there to sneak it in. This is looking great. North, they might have just done it 1-on-4 here for Device. And this is nothing short of a historic victory for North. They have been struggling for a long time. They face the best team in the world right here at the group stage, and they make it work. In overtime, 19-17. The celebrations are in order. What a game from North.
Yeah, you can see what it means to them as well. MSL obviously super hyped. Been in the shadow of this team for quite some time. Not only in the Danish team, but on the world stage as well. Carby making the decision to leave Astralis earlier this year and struggling to make that look like a good move, but this is a good first step for all of them.
Yeah, I bet there were a lot of people who were ready with all sorts of memes about Kirby making the wrong decision and everything, and he just got a little bit of revenge, you know. Just got a little bit back.
Well, yeah, they still obviously have to get the results overall in the tournament, but as you said, you know, you need a win, especially when you're a team, you're kind of climbing, you're getting better, everyone's seeing improvements, but you do need something to kind of put you over the top, make you feel a little bit better. I thought that was a great series.
and take the opportunities they had. But I feel like against North, they never could do it. They had to go really all in. Magisk went through smoke on B, won a round, but it wasn't really like properly.
A lot of knowledge on how to play the game and a lot of very reasonable ways to teach people and young players, inexperienced players. For Wardell, because I know you mentioned that you are super excited about this guy, and there's good reason to be. That's the name that's been whispered around the North American scene for, I want to say, like a year and a half now, of like one of the guys that's just like, he's going to be good. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Yeah.
And we've obviously seen some exciting stuff.
Yeah, I think it's great. And I am a good story, just to get people in the right mood, I guess. Josh and I once shared a hotel room in Cologne.
Love these stories.
And it had like a glass wall into the shower that faced like into where the beds were.
Okay.
So that was a good time.
Yeah, bit kinky. I like it.
We were in Germany, so you know how that goes.
Yeah, Germans don't hold back, do they? One more little tidbit, because I know we're focusing on Ghost because most people probably don't know too much about him. The coach of Ghost used to be the analyst of Cloud9. He's a guy that. Sneakily in this Ghost team, there's some talent and experience hidden there, and obviously Crystal is just kind of like, what the hell's going on?
Wardell was actually stuck in spawn for the seen everything that he can do, but he is kind of an enigma of his own. He's got incredible aim, and if you can just unleash him for even a little bit, it is going to be absolute havoc on the other side. Kuster is here, playing with the P2000, and on the other side it's P250, so a bit of a sniper battle going on near the pistol round. Everything on the line right now is the best of 3 game, and you just want to make it right into the playoffs here. That would be great. Maybe, as Des was saying, especially for NIP. It looks like they bring the bomb back.
This is a very passive pistol round setup from Ghost, which is a little bit ballsy because you obviously have no idea what's coming. You just have to play pretty standard, rely on your players to do their job. Steel already used his smoke. He dropped a one-way to pee underneath it towards lane, and he didn't see anything. Dennis is being patient as well, so it's going to be all up to this hold, and this is a pretty decent setup for Ghost.
Yep, one flashbang from Lecro, and they're going to try and see if they can make the breakthrough. Only 35 seconds. Wardell and Steel, and Wardell again taking another one, and they're getting shut down. Steel with the double, and now Rez. Best you could do is hope for an exchange, find a better pistol, save the armor in the last 20 seconds here. That was that worked out really well.
That was a cool trap, and obviously the big piece of that working is the fact that Wardell gets the opening kill. Steel actually stayed hidden for a couple extra seconds just to kind of lure him a little bit closer and make sure they were committed. A shot from Rez, but only 5 seconds left. And they don't have to get this kill. He does need to die, so he's pushing forward. They're trying to hold back. They're not taking the shots. They want to kill him after the timer. They're going to get it. That's actually a really heads-up play from a team you'd consider an experience. That could not have worked better.
But Rez is not going to be happy about that. We should really look at the scoreboard because you can kind of tell what a difference it makes here. I guess they all buy up, but he had about, he had like, not that much money basically to work with. Everybody else had double or more than he did. So, a little bit interesting. Ghost Gaming going to be up 1-0. Get some upgraded pistols though. Lecro, well known for his Deagle plays, and I guess Dennis too to some extent. They've got it all lined up.
Well, I remember when Dennis joined this team, everyone was like, well, NIP's never going to lose a pistol round again, and they actually haven't been that great on pistol rounds historically, despite the fact Forrest also very well known for his... Bit aggressive in Halls. Steel's there, not entirely alone. Subrosa on the stairs, making sure no one can jump behind him, but some element of danger. Get right. Like alert calls out the information, but plays. This would be both Swedish teams getting knocked out if NIP can't win this. Fnatic falling to heroic earlier. A little bit of shade that I like to see on Twitter from NIP. Is what they say, like now the real Swedish power.
I saw that. Said Moses, you're still on last year's, gift. Kooster is gone. It's all about Wardell.
Listen, every time Kooster's in the server, it's like I teleport back to like the 2016 minors for MLG, and I'm just ready to roll.
You forgot all the rest of
it.
Yeah,
no, the rest of it doesn't matter. Real talk, though, that he's actually playing with Steel as a leader, because I think Steel sneakily is like one of the best in-game leaders you can play in North America. I think he has a lot of knowledge on how to play the game and a lot of very reasonable ways to teach people and young players and experienced players. For Wardell, because I know you mentioned that you are super excited. That's the name that's been whispered around the North American scene for, I want to say, like a year and a half now, of like one of the guys that's just like, he's going to be good. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Yeah.
And we've obviously seen some exciting stuff.
Yeah, I think it's great. And I am quietly excited. I know it's taboo to say, but I'm just excited that Steel is here. I really can't help it. Like, I think he's a funny guy.
Steel's great. Steel is obviously phenomenal.
A good story, just to get people in the right mood, I guess. Josh and I once shared a hotel room in Cologne.
Love these stories.
And it had like a glass wall into the shower that faced like into where the beds were.
Okay.
So that was a good time.
Yeah.
We were in Germany, so you know how that goes.
Yeah. Germans don't hold back, do they? One more little tidbit, because I know we're focusing on Ghost because most people probably don't know too much about him. Of Cloud9. He's a guy that his history in Counter-Strike extends back to 1.6, playing with nothing. Spent a lot of time doing some work for the Cloud9 team. Also did some analyst work for the North American ESL Pro League. There's some talent and experience hidden there, and obviously Crystal is just kind of like, what the hell's going on?
Wardell was actually stuck in spawn for the first 10 seconds. That could have been scary if they had rushed somewhere unpredictably.
It's all fine.
Yeah, it's all fine. It's all good. This NIP team, though, again, I think it's really amazing. They got an incredible lineup, and I think still Rez, we haven't seen everything that he can do, but he is a kind of aim, and if you can just unleash him for even a little bit, it is going to be absolute havoc on the other side. Kuster is here, playing with the P2000, and on the other side it's P. .250, so a bit of a sniper battle going on near the pistol round. Everything on the line right now is the best of 3 game, and you just want to make it right into the playoffs here. That would be great. Maybe it looks like they're bringing the bomb back.
This is a very passive pistol round setup from Ghost, which is a little bit. You just have to play pretty standard, rely on your players to do their job. Seal already used his smoke. He dropped a one-way to pee underneath it towards lane, and he didn't see anything. Dennis is being patient as well, so it's going to be all up to this hold, and this is a pretty decent setup for Ghost.
Yep, one flashbang from Lecro, and they're going to try and see if they can make the way through. Only 35 seconds. Wardell and Steel, and Wardell again taking another one, and they're getting shut down. Steel with the double, and now Rez. Best you could do is hope for an exchange, find a better pistol, save the armor in the last 20 seconds here. That was that worked out really well.
That was a cool trap, and obviously the big piece of that working is the fact that Wardell gets the opening kill. Steel actually stayed hidden for a couple extra seconds just to kind of lure him a little bit closer and make sure they were committed. A shot from Rez with only 5 seconds left, and they don't have to get this kill. He does need to die, so he's pushing forward. They're trying to hold back. They're not taking the shots. They want to kill him after the timer. They're going to get it. That's actually a really heads-up play from a team you'd consider an experience. That could not have worked better.
But Rez is not going to be happy about that. We should really look at the scoreboard because you can kind of tell what a difference it makes here. I guess they all buy up, but he had about he had like not that much money basically to work with. Everybody else had double or more than he did. So a little bit interesting. Ghost Gaming going to be up 1-0. Get some upgraded pistols though. Lecro, well known for his Deagle plays, and I guess Dennis too to some extent. They've got it all lined up.
Well, I remember when Dennis joined this team, everyone was like, well, NIP's never going to lose a pistol round again. And they actually haven't been that great on pistol rounds historically, despite the fact Forrest also very well known for his pistols. Bit aggressive in halls. Steel's there, not entirely alone. Subrosa on the stairs, making sure no one can jump behind him, but some element of danger. Get right. Like Alert calls out the information, but plays it passive. This would be both Swedish teams getting knocked out if NIP can't win this. Fnatic falling to Heroic earlier. A little bit of shade that I like to see on Twitter from NIP. So would they say like now the real Swedish powerhouse shows up or something along those lines?
Yeah, I saw that. I like that. You need the rivalry. We need Swedish Counter-Strike to come back like all the way back because obviously historically it's been such an incredible force that you kind of feel like something's lacking a little bit. Oh my god. That is Crystal absolutely gone. The lack of head armor means Steel is have a decently good time. Here's the follow-up there. The MP7's getting a lot of kills, and what Wardell was doing. He's ready to surf. He's ready to surf a little bit.
Well, unfortunately, I think he just lost an M4. Subrosa is on his horse, but doesn't get it in the end. Yeah, a little bit of a... I mean, it's good that that kill kind of happened now. Puts him on notice next time he tries to rotate. You don't necessarily want to do it with your knife out.
Have you ever tried riding a horse, Moses?
I have. I rode a horse on the beach in Aruba most recently.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was cool.
I have a phobia for horses. I really don't like them.
You really?
Yeah.
You're so weird.
One of them tried to kill me.
Noble animals.
No, they're not. They're murderous animals. Listen, I almost died. It's not funny.
You're such a pussy.
He tried to strangle me. I was only like 7 or something.
Oh, Jesus. 3-0.
It's just...
Very quickly, we're going to move along. Utility being bought up for Ghost. They're sitting in a good spot. A little bit of a bonus round for them with 4 SMGs on the board. They did take some losses in that second rounder. I mean, I think it was, what, 3? And definitely one of the M4s being lost was not great. So trying to build up some extra cash. AKs are out on the board. That's a late Molotov, and Kusta gets naded and flamed down to 26. Not an ideal start, and that's an awkward position to get caught. Halfway down mid with SMGs.
Yeah, just dipping his feet in the fire quite a bit there, Kusta. Going for that new popular pedicure. Just the Molotov treatment, Molotov spa. You love those. Sub Rosa close range, which is where you want the SMGs, MP9, and get right, it's going to be going down. So they've taken a fair bit of step. Could have almost worked. Sub Rosa is going to fall back afterwards.
Obviously a good idea from Forrest. It's a long shot, but you might as well go for it. Good opening kill from Sub Rosa. Even gets away with the AK-47, so going to do a little bit of a cheeky boost. Where does NIP go from here? They've got 3 smokes, 2 flashbangs. Decent utility on at least Sub Rosa at the same bomb site, so they can delay mid a little bit longer. Now, if NIP wants to commit up mid when that smoke clears, there is still a Molotov, and the timing of that for Sub Rosa could be huge. And back to the B bomb site we go. There's 3 players here, though. Ghost very confident in that stack they have going on in lane.
Yeah, it seems like a big risk, but it's going to pay off. They're actually gravitating this way, NIP. They're walking into the 3-man stack at B. That should be very hard to break. Maybe the smoke could do something towards CT spawn. Steel going to win the fight against Lekro. Now the game's up. 20 seconds, and they get the headshot on Wardell at least. Taking him down. Still a 3-on-4, and Kusta with the boost. Easy kill there. The follow-up from Crystal is just fine. 10 seconds here, and a 1-on-3 for Dennis. He's got the health, but they're all going to be coming for him. He needs to readjust. He needs to get back into safety. I don't know. Oh, he doesn't quite do it. If he could have got back there, there would have been a chance.
Yeah, there was a bit of a timing, unfortunately. It took a little longer. He was walking those last few steps. He didn't want Kusta to hear him behind that smoke by Coffins, and that's what allowed the flank to come in just in time. Good round from Ghost. Good openings from Sub Rosa, the opening and the closer. And that's the SMGs coming to bear. They didn't spend a whole lot of money into that. They get 2 free upgrades. I think they had 1 rifle already in that round, so not bad, all things considered. Good hold on this B bomb site. A good call on the stack as well, not just playing it standard.
Round number 5, and 4 of them have gone in favor of Ghost Gaming. The fact that they made that work with the SMGs, they swap out now for AKs. It's such a big win when you win those bonus rounds, so it's going to be a bit frustrating for NIP early on in this game. A lot of damage onto Steel. He's going to go down between Lekro and Forrest, and that's a good duo in the middle, shutting down Sub Rosa as well. They're going to be happy.
They're going to have to save these 3 weapons. Don't even go for it. Fall back into the B bomb site. Fortify your defenses. This is a lost round. Don't necessarily... I'm not sure entirely what was meant from that. Just because you have 3 players pushing Banana, right? There's no reason for you to be that aggressive at top mid. You want that stack to come in. You want a 3rd player to rotate back. You want them to control Banana and fall away. So it just feels like a little too much aggression that they get punished for. I'm not sure if it was supposed to be some kind of a push. Steel did drop that smoke towards alt mid, but... NIP, despite getting a little bit beat up in these first 4 rounds, have kept their focus and are able to push that back.
I think this is a nice time for NIP to put a hold on the advance for Ghost Gaming, especially when you're in a round like this, where you just brute force your way into the middle. You win 2 of those battles, and that's it. Makes you feel like you could probably have a pretty decent shot at doing that a couple of more times at least throughout the half. Crystal and Wardell going to be able to save the rest here. So 4-1. And NIP are going to be on the board. It's all good news for them. I'm curious to see if we're going to see many more fights like that from Ghost Gaming. They obviously had a feeling that they could probably win those.
Weird too, the aggression wasn't with the op on Wardell, but now here's one of the strengths that you can look to with Ghost is that double op setup. How dangerous that can be. Kusta's got 1. Peering into alt mid. Rez is going to turn the corner, a chance here, but Rez doesn't want to take that fight, maybe without a flashbang. It's going to be a quick cross, and Kusta misses it. They could move up quickly, but the Molotov going to force them away. Nice timing on that. Another op Wardell towards that B bomb site. And for the moment, NIP has forced everything back, not taken any damage whatsoever, so early victory for NIP in this round.
Yeah, they're going to be happy about that. Always a bit scary when you're peeking that short corner, or the corner from second mid, and there's an AWP waiting. They managed to get the right angle, so all good news. They're taking over apartments ever so slightly. They've sort of given up banana control, and so far nobody from Ghost Gaming has gone to check it. It's kind of hard for them to do as well, but if they knew, then they could make some different decisions. Right now, might be hard for these 2 men to hold on. Good Molotov to counter it, but Forrest will take down Sub Rosa, and look at how alone Kusta is. A little bit of backup from Steel behind him, but this could get almost impossible to defend. If they go quick right now, NIP, they should probably be able to make the breakthrough. Steel hoping that he could create a good smoke there from maybe a little bit of chaos. He can actually look under it, Kusta. That's a very smart smoke. Let's just wait and see. 30 seconds more coming in now, the library. A little bit of backup coming in from the Ghost Gaming side. Wardell picking up the 1 kill. The double up trying to be in effect. Rez will take 1 kill. Still spraying. Wardell has made his way. Gets the kill on Get Right, but Is there enough time here? 2-on-2. No bomb hunt yet. They need to get in and get that bomb down. NIP, and there's Crystal taking down Res. And that leaves Lekro 1 versus 2, and he's looking for the kill. He knows Steel is in there, but it's not enough. Steel will take him down. And Ghost Gaming, that's a huge round to be winning.
Yeah, that is really good. NIP, they just couldn't take control of that site. Those smokes, that one that Steel dropped and the one that NIP had to throw to try and neutralize the op, were so good at delaying their take of the bomb site. And Ghost just kept sending bodies through small pit to attack towards Graveyard, and even though NIP gets some of the kills, they're both stuck in Graveyard. They can't go anywhere. The bomb's over there as well. They still can't get the plant down, so just great way to run down the time and put all the pressure on NIP. And Ghost looking good early on. Steel, he's done that a couple times, that jump across just for information to count. I don't think he really spotted a whole lot that time. He didn't in pistol round either, but just trying to see if he can find anything that's going to help him out. 3 players of utility, decent chip damage, and Subroza gonna peek up now to ensure there's no more chasing down Steel.
Yeah, and just at least putting up a little bit of a fight here for the apartments. I don't know how Subroza wins that fight. I feel like Dennis should have had that 9 times out of 10.
I think part of it was the fear that Dennis had. They know Kusta was opping in mid last round, so I don't think Dennis wanted to swing out too wide and expose himself to the op, but because of that, he took a rather weak fight. Get Right going to try and create, but on contact, Steel will pop up in Graveyard. Get Right hoping someone's going to fall back into the crosshair. Not happening at the moment.
Yeah, he's just playing that jack-in-the-box position. I mean, he can't really do anything else with this little health, so it makes sense. Was that a giveaway? Yeah, Get Right, he saw that. But again, the crossfire is just so good. Subroza are able to pick it up, and now 2 versus 5. I need some kind of impact here. Forest with 1 good kill. Flashbang to set up the turn around the corner, but what a nice round from Subroza. Quad kill overall. 6-1 lead in favor of Ghost Gaming.
Well, bet you didn't expect this when you woke up this morning, Anders.
I don't know. I was kind of on Maniac's side for this. I actually think this is kind of a close game. It's very hard to call as well, right? Because all we've really seen out of Ghost Gaming is the last tournament in
Zotac.
Yeah, Zotac, exactly. Yeah. So it's very hard to know what that actually means. But the fact that they obviously won yesterday and doing well now, I'm loving it. Mostly I was looking forward to Wardell opening, but I just enjoy all the rest of it. And Steel being back.
Yeah, Steel's a fun figure in the community.
He really is.
I mean, this is Ghost. They're putting a lot of pressure on A holes. They're pushing up, they're getting information, they're being aggressive, finding kills. That way, good find for Forrest with the pistol through the smoke. What does NIP have to do here? No utility, just P250 with no armor on Get Right and Forest. They have that 1M4 they can find in mid eventually. But those ops are going to start doing some damage. Kusta's got a great angle with relative safety.
What's that chicken doing, Moses? Why is it freaking out?
I think he's laughing at you for being afraid of horses.
You don't think chickens are afraid of horses, Moses? Of course they are.
No. Well,
I can tell you've never been strangled by a horse, Moses, but trust me, when you try it, it's no fun.
They wrap their hooves around your throat. You fucking weirdo. Steel is just waiting. He spots the shoulder of Get Right, who gets away very quickly. Wardell's going to stick around. He knows he's got Subroza with him. A good defense here. No damage taken. All you need to do is just survive. Don't fall down to Forest, and it's not going to happen. 7-1. And a pretty dominant 7-1, all things considered.
God, I feel like there's some cool stuff happening in the North American scene right now. Like, we've just got so much individual talent. I'm not convinced that it's all in the right place. Like, I feel like you could make like an American super team that might be better than the ones that are currently out there. But it's still like, it's a good problem to have, right?
Gets away. Yeah, it is. I think there's a lot of conversations you can have about a lot of that young talent as well. Actually, hold the thought. Kusta with the timing. He gets blinded, but Forrest turns the corner. He even gets blocked, so gotta hit that shot, or else they might both be dead. I think as well, if you look at it, like some of the young talent that you'll talk about coming up, whether it's on this Ghost team, when you talk about NRG,
yeah,
you also have a big talking point in those teams about the leadership, right? Daps with NRG, Steel here with Ghost Gaming. So you also have a lot of that young talent, you know, acquiescing and realizing that, you know, you can learn some things from some of these experienced leaders, and you know, things do get easier when you follow the team mind frame, which has constantly been a criticism.
Yeah, it really has been. I've got something to add to that in a minute. Still 55 seconds on the clock and Steel in position, close to the smoke. We've seen that earlier on Inferno as well. It does work some of the time if you get the timing down right. Flick not connecting Wardell, just overpeaked by Dennis. Subrosa doing a fine job, and that puts so much pressure on the incoming push here. Shot in the back by Crystal. Now Rez, 1 versus 3. And he, again, this apartments player up here. Subrosa really being active, and he's going to come for the kill as well. Taking down Rez.
This is like an old school kind of style in a way, I guess. I mean, normally you see more than one player in those halls, but there have been eras of Inferno and CSGO where halls control dictated a lot, and we've kind of gone away from that. Like teams like are choosing not really to risk a whole lot in those halls on the CT side, because there are ways you can get, it is kind of a little bit tenuous. But here against NIP, Subrosa and Steel have both been in those halls, and at times they have both controlled it. And it used to be, if you wanted to attack the A bomb site, you had to control halls, and you had to send like 2 to 3 players to clear it out on the T side. We're obviously not seeing that, because that's not, you haven't really had to do that recently. And now that Ghost is playing this way, I think it's catching NIP a little bit off guard.
Really seems to. And I think it's a valid point that you bring up about sort of the American leadership situation. The fact that Steel is back, I mean, there really aren't that many potential leaders, so having someone like him, definitely important. If you can handle the abuse, Moses, you could really unlock being captained by Steel.
Yes.
So
he is a little bit more like the old school style leader, isn't he? Like not going to put up with anything.
Yeah, I like it though. I think you get better players out at the end. So.
Well, he's certainly made this team starting to look good.
It's interesting. We've got armor and CSET 75s, a preemptive grenade. I think the fact that there was no one in the middle made Steel think probably they were in second mid then. It's not a bad guess.
Well, here's a test. Crystal's on the rotate back, but you can tell NIP just says, we need to stop this pressure in halls. Well, let's attack it a little bit. 3 players coming up the stairs. Subrosa is going to be challenged. Smoke is going to delay things. Steel is here, and Crystal in library. So these 2 players have a big job to do. Subrosa don't get caught in the smoke. He's playing this a little bit sketchy. This is wild. Molotov from his teammate is actually going to force his hand, but they're controlling it so far. Steel goes down. There's Kusta. They all get here at the right moment. I'm not sure how Subrosa survives.
No, that was a friendly Molotov. Maybe...
We just mentioned Steel was a little bit of, the hardcore in-game leaders throwing Molotovs at his teammate's feet.
That'll get you motivated.
Yeah, that'll get you moving.
Paying attention right away. 9-1, and the 11th round coming up. This is crushing first half right now in favor of Ghost Gaming. They're playing a really, really good defensive side here on Inferno, and NIP don't seem to have quite clicked into it. That one round they won a good fight at the top of middle, and that's more or less been it. Flick does connect with Rez, but grenade in return as well. It's about time for NIP to show us what they got here.
I've been stumped so frequently today, I think they might as well go back towards the B bomb site. They got shut down here once or twice early on, not when they had the greatest buys, but they're just going to line up and go for it. Simplify things. Get control of Banana, hit the bomb site, 1:12. Problem is there's a good amount of utility left. Crystal still has a Molotov, he's going to drop it now. That'll delay him. Oh, Kusta, the timing on that unscope was dangerous.
Absolutely, that's going to lead a lot of trouble. The smoke's now in front. Kusta goes down. Good opening for Electro. Now Crystal alone. It's very hard to do more than he did then. They were always going to try and go for that staggered peek, and Wardell coming with a really good shot, trying to get it through. The bomb's being planted on the other side. If he could have got that, would have changed absolutely everything, but still, it's a 3-on-3. 2 of them coming in from Banana, and there's nobody covering there. Lecro, in fact, is in a very exposed position. If they flash over the corner here, Lecro could be in a bit of trouble as they get around. Wardell now trying to see if he can do it from the other side. The Molotov now to put even more pressure. And there's that flashbang we were talking about. Wardell goes down to Rez. It's still a 2-on-2, and they're running out of time. NIP, they might have actually done this. Might be a second round for them here. Rez with another fight, and now he's hiding, buying time, and Steel, he's going to get the kill, but I don't think he has the time for it. No, not even a kit picked up, so that's going to be a little bit rough. Second round for NIP, although it was expensive.
Steel's going to stay alive with that off. You're absolutely right. It was very expensive, and Ghost had the economy to kind of throw everything at that, even late into the bomb tighter, to ensure that everyone from NIP fell. This is one of those rare buys you have after a victory where your buy afterwards is actually worse than it was before you won the round. So double op is still going to be there. Plenty of cash on Ghost Gaming. Just a couple. I mean, obviously the unscope from Kusta at the inopportune moment. Wardell as well didn't realize that there was a gap in that smoke. Might have been able to pick one off early. Either way, they'll get a second chance here. A lot of bodies coming up alt mid. Staying grouped up is this NIP team, and here we go.
Wardell gets back around the corner. He could have been dead very quickly then. Steel just taking a peek. Here's the bullet fragment, the wall behind him. Steel going down almost immediately, so that's a good trade frag there. Lecro now, bit of a pop flash over the wall. Wardell looking for this side. If he gets this kill, everybody else is coming in from the other side. He can actually funnel them in here. This might be great. Another kill for Wardell. Good double, just diffusing the threat from that one side on quad, and everybody else is coming in from library, so that's a really, really good pick-off. And now it's all on Dennis. Definitely world-class player, but this is a bit much. He's kind of balanced. I'm not sure about that.
Let's not talk about that one.
Yeah, just leave it alone. Already move on. Just forget about it.
It had to have been some kind of a miscall or misinformation. This is doable. I mean, not just because you just got that kill now, but even beforehand, 2 AWPs. You have an opportunity if this is misplayed and mistraded. Fake plant is not going to lure Ghost into the open. Here's the peek. Wardell is ready and waiting. 10-2, though a little bit of a scary situation at times.
I was getting worried then. I had a moment of real fear.
Those are the rounds when you see that happen with Kusta, where I do just want to like message him afterwards and be like, "Can you explain what was going on in your can we attach the machinery to your brain and figure out the thought process here?"
Well, you know, there's this thing called an fMRI, right? So maybe we can. I don't know if they make them for gaming chairs, but maybe we can have like that going on. Do real-time analysis.
There's a weird timing on this, and NIP's already up, and yeah, that is too bold from Ghost. This is now, this is so dangerous. Crystal gets around the corner, doesn't spot any of them, and he's moving up. Rosa has it all to do. There's the first one tagged up, and yeah, that one tag did everything. Crystal on the flank. Pretty clean kill, but there's the great trades from NIP. Again, at top mid, Ghost Gaming gets caught trying to be fancy.
Sometimes, Moses, you just gotta do it raw and dirty, don't you? Just running out the middle, just make that work.
Well, it's actually a pretty cool change that we've had on NIP on this T side, even though it hasn't yielded results quite yet. Might help him claw back towards 5. He's gonna go for this, but not quick enough for that one. Dennis with a good peek. But NIP realized they'd been getting red when they were kind of doing the slower tactics.
Yeah.
Now it's just grouping up, and it's like, once we make first contact, we're committed. We just need to get in, and obviously this time with the CZ, Wardell couldn't get back in time. Steel was waiting for a flashbang, so the corner was already grabbed by NIP, the angle. The third round for them, and now finally the money's gone. So NIP, I mean, if they get away with 5, that's not bad, considering the way this started. It was, what?
7-1 or something?
9-1.
Yeah, 9-1 even. Yeah, 5-10 would be a great recovery right now for the Swedish team. Definitely appreciate that. Oh, that's very bold. MP9 running through the smoke. Rez manages to recover and taking down Kusta. Now, Subrosa, is he going to try and follow it up with even more aggression? It kind of feels like he wants to peek get right, but that could end timing.
If you're playing NIP on Inferno, you have to know, by force, you have to know get right's going to be somewhere around halls. And even if he's not actively in halls, he's going to be waiting for a push. So I think Subrosa had to have been told by someone, be patient. And he's not, and that's what happens.
Well, maybe you can tell him later, Moses. You had the right idea. So
it's easy when you can see the whole minimap.
It does make things easier. I feel like I could be useful, in a team if I just had that.
Yeah?
Yeah, make some calls.
Yeah. I think it'd still be a stretch.
Still a bit of a wait.
At this point, you might as well sit in the A bomb site if you're Ghost and just say, if they come here, we got a chance. If not, we save for the last round.
Yes.
17 on Subrosa, 15 on Steel. Wardell 12. No one in NIP in double digits yet.
No, they're kind of falling a little bit behind. It's good to see Get Right. He got the CZ75 kill last round and won this time. Before that, he actually had 1 kill. So, you want to see him get into it. I think the desk mentions, a bit of an emotional player. So it can make sense to have him up and running early on in the best of 3 and doesn't get behind too far early on. Bomb plant, and as you said, Ghost Gaming just waiting on the other side. So their money next round is really not going to be great. So they kind of need these rifles. Yeah,
it's going to be ugly. The one thing they have going for them this round, I guess the silver lining, if you will, is the fact that NIP really don't have a great economy either. So, even with just 1 round left in the half, they need the majority of these rifles to make it into the next round. So not wanting to send a whole lot of bodies on the hunt. 1 or 2 is going to be fine. But you do want to be careful. Molotov's not going to make it exactly where Lecro wanted it.
Seeing if they could catch anybody. Still trying to be patient. Okay. Whatever Necro was selling, Waddell wasn't interested.
No, he slammed the door on those Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah. Do you have a moment to talk about your... Boom. Shut down. 10-4, 15th round now coming up. And the fact that they save both those rifles, giving them at least a chance here. Might have to find a kill with the AWP rather than waiting around forever. So Waddell at least taking a bit of a peek down there. I'm glad he doesn't overpeak it, though. I'm not a big fan of that peak from the CT side if you go all the way towards the ramp.
Right. Yeah. It is dangerous, especially when you're kind of relying on that op to be a main driving force in this round.
Bit of an exchange of smokes over on this side with not really much of a result afterwards.
No, but it's really well done from NIP. They've trying to force out utility early on in this round. They've taken the smoke away from Kusta. There's just one left on Krista with over a minute left when that one's going to clear. So I mean, you either have to hold your nerve and take a duel with just a 5-7, or you put it down, and Krista chooses to put it down. Nice kill from Get Right. He's had a tough time in those holes. Starting to come alive a little bit more prepared for that aggression. But look at the cheat. Look at the read from Ghost.
Yeah, it's a really, really good call. Sabrosa being forced back, and they must have heard a little bit of running there. Get Right could have heard those steps. That's close range, and won't be able to do it. That's a big giveaway. They actually sneak away that AWP. Now, they're going to be running back into the site, and Sabrosa's the only one here. This MP7 had better do a good job. He's got one flashbang to buy time. He's got pretty much the weight of this last round on his shoulders here. Not going to be easy. He gets the one kill. He tries for the transfer, but can't really blame him. And Get Right and Rez coming up with some very important kills. 2-on-3 now. The bomb will be going down. And 15th round, they are obviously just going to go all in on this one. Crystal moving up, but he gets caught Get Right with a big off angle there. Third kill of the round for him. That's good news.
Yeah, he's come alive a little bit here at the end, right when they needed him if they wanted to have a chance. They've given themselves some breathing room. It's not going to be... This is the weird thing. It's obviously not going to be any kind of a half that you would call good from NIP, but the fact that they got 5 after being down 9-1 is huge. So that's just too much damage that he's taking. He doesn't have a kit. Time's running low. He's just got to commit. Forrest waiting. Isn't going to miss that one. 10-5 for Ghost Gaming. We're going to go to Stunna here at halftime.
Yeah, I think...
a little late, is because of exactly that. So many people queuing up outside in this, I don't want to say cold weather, in this Swedish weather, I'll go for. But either way, let's quickly say a thank you to our sponsors that make an event like this possible. A big thank you to Corsair, Monster Energy, Asus ROG, Hacks, and Fortum for coming together and combining to make DreamHack, or rather Corsair DreamHack Masters Stockholm, a reality. With all of that said, I think it is time for some introductions, and the introductions are in order because we do have none other than some ex-Counter-Strike professionals. In fact, some probably going to be diving straight back into it, I'm sure, once you watch some more fantastic Counter-Strike. The itch comes back. We do have none other than Matthew Maniac Guicret and Jacob Pimp Vinegar hanging out here. Does the itch come back, Jacob, when you're watching this professional Counter-Strike, when you see the Danish flags flying in that arena?
I mean, I would like to sit in there and play, Alex. It's what we played for when we were professional players, right? We want to go into the stage, we want to get that feeling of playing in front of a crowd, and you do miss it a little bit standing here. But then, on the other hand, we get to spend a lot of time with you in a green room, so yeah, it's all right.
There's costs and pros and cons, I think is what they call it. It really is. And same for you, Maniac, right? I mean, it was great to play Counter-Strike at home, great to play Counter-Strike in the hotel or wherever the group stage may be, but it was always for these moments that you pursued.
I mean, these moments in the arena, on the stage, these are the moments you keep with yourself forever. These are the memories you think about when you play. These are also like the reason and the motivation why you play some of the deathmatch, some practice with your team. This all comes down to this.
Yes, and indeed, this is the first tournament out from that player break. For those of you that haven't been keeping up with Counter-Strike, the players allocated August as an opportunity to take time off away from Tier 1 competition, some using it exclusively for some R&R and much needed rest and relaxation for sure, but also an opportunity just to kind of maybe refine your game. Roster changes made, major around the corner. This was a month dedicated to pursuing and honing your craft. And Maniac, we've had some interesting lessons learned here. We've seen some teams, some of those huge names, the likes of FaZe, the likes of MIBR, come out of that player break looking spicier than ever.
Yeah, well, the thing that's interesting about the break is that you never know how the teams are going to look like when they come back. You know, some teams might look a little rusty. Some other teams, you feel like the rest was exactly what they needed. And I also think for some teams, it's also the occasion to take some work and some advance on the other teams. Let's say you had a roster change, just do a bootcamp if you feel like you need to. You can take a little edge on other teams that would definitely need a break. But yeah, it was interesting seeing all these teams fighting back for this tournament.
Yeah, and actually, we are going to talk about that group stage because we have to get our heads around it. The group stage, of course, had its fair few surprises, at least maybe in the opening games, not so much perhaps in the final outcomes. But we're going to go ahead and recap that group stage so everyone's on the same page as we head into playoffs.
Gets baited out by the jump.
Shot that Mertz could not afford to lose. My God, Ray turning it around. A quick triple, taking down Mertz, Aztec, and Freiburg.
Occasion. This is your playoff bracket. We started with 16. We start now with just 8 as we venture into the Ericsson Globe. NIP Heroic, your first game in that arena. And I want to start by just going down that list a little bit, Jacob. I mean, we had some big hard hitters in every single group. Group A, of course, housed the likes of North Astralis, which you can now see both managing to climb to the very tippy top of their brackets. Which one looks like the biggest surprise when you look at those 4 quarterfinals?
I would say the fact that we had the first game being NIP against Heroic is the biggest surprise. The fact that Fnatic weren't able to make it through out of this group. Obviously, it was a hard one with Heroic, Optic, and another strong team in it. But you would imagine that Fnatic would be a team that would be super, super motivated to come in here and play in the Globe. And not making it for them should be a big disappointment and a wake-up call for them, because they do have a major coming up as well. And Fnatic is a team where you expect them to be at least a contender for a title.
Yeah, and you could see, I mean, that slow-motion replay, Maniac, of the the losing moments, I guess, the moments after that loss, it is clear that those players, they have the hunger, they have that desire. It's not like they were coasting and resting on their laurels coming into this tournament.
Absolutely, but I think as a team, how you deal with losses, how you take conclusion from it, and how you grow is probably a factor that's going to define what you will achieve. Obviously, every team, even Astralis at some point, had to face like devastating losses, but what you take from it and how you are able to bounce back is a very important factor.
Yeah, and bouncing back is exactly what we expected to see from the North American presences in Group B. Now, you didn't see them in that quarterfinal bracket, but Jacob, Ghost Gaming, NRG, I want to make sure they get mentioned one more time at least here in the pre-show because, I mean, first, I didn't notice Cirque's reaction the first time round. It looked like he was devastated at that 0-2 exit.
Yeah, and rightfully so, because I think NRG is a team that has potential for much more what they got to show at this tournament. They were a little bit unlucky in the first game, you know, losing to NIP after having a big lead. That's fair enough. NIP is a great team, obviously. Then meeting Navi, who lost to Ghost in their first game. That's a hard fate to go up against in a tournament like this. So I feel for Ghost, it's a little, sorry, for NRG, it's a little bit sad. Whereas for Ghost, you know, they got to show us a lot of their potential. We saw it at Sotek in Hong Kong. We saw it now here again. This is a team to be reckoned with. This is a team that can go up against the best and actually have a decent say. Now, as you said before, you don't really know how teams come out of their break, so it will be interesting to see if this is just some sort of momentum they're building up now, and whatever they're actually going to be able to continue that momentum, or if this is just Ghost having taken advantage of the break and just got a little bit step closer to the best teams.
Yeah, and we do have, of course, a bit of a location shift. Previously, you've just seen the players in the tournament area. However, this is going to be going down in that arena. I've only heard whispers that it looks amazing. Someone with a little louder voice now, Mr. Stunner, is standing by to give us a little bit of a check-in with how are the crowd packing in now. They making their way?
Oh, they're here. They're
oh
here,
my
Alex.
God.
Let me tell you, they are here. That was a little loud. But I think that this crowd can get much louder than that. Do I have any Ninjas in Pajamas fans in the house tonight? This morning. There you go. Everybody's getting their breakfast, everybody's getting their fruits, their yogurts, and their cereal. But more importantly, they're getting into their chairs, Alex, and they're getting buckled in for this heroic and Ninjas in Pajamas matchup. Now, it is really early, but I know this crowd can get pretty loud all day long as people also continue to pack into this arena.
Exciting, so damn exciting. The fact of the matter is that we are going to have to delay the start of that first game. I think it's scheduled for about 25 minutes time when we're going to be getting that game underway. The reason being, so many people trying to get in all at the same time. I don't blame them, of course. It's going to be something that I would 100% be here if I could, if I wasn't working it. I'd love to be seeing that arena and seeing that Counter-Strike in the big stage. It does change everything, and I'm glad so many of you are packing in, if you can hear me and see me in the Ericsson Globe. Still, carrying on with our conversation, the two red logos, or rather three, of Group D was an intriguing concept to me, Jacob. Gambit, Hellraiser's, Mouse. These three, I didn't know how to separate them. Mouse have broken my heart too many times to be considered a favorite for that group.
Yeah, and yet again, they deliver, right? It's a team that has high quality, and we talked about it yesterday when we had the pregame of Hellraiser's Mouse, but it could be a much closer game, I felt. And as you said, the group itself, you know, when you look at it, it's close, it's tight, but it showed that Gambit is just not ready for this this kind of level right now. It's a team that has been falling ever since they made the major final in Krakow, and we haven't really seen anything from them in a long time. Whereas for Mouse, it's a project, you know, it's I wouldn't say it's trending upwards, but it definitely got a better look to it yesterday after winning against Hellraisers, whereas they've been in a lot of trouble with Voxing not being able to play the tournaments with them and all that kind of stuff. So you're saying three red logos. I would say it was a really messy group and a really, how do you say it? Like it was tough to predict anything from that one.
Yeah, and that team, of course, the team that topped that group, MIBR, have been looking great. We get to see them play today versus Astralis. Counter-Strike fans, we can't wait for that one, and that's coming up a little later on today. But the Intel Grand Slam is also worth talking about because FaZe Clan are in attendance here, and they have got 3 notches in their belt with just one shot and one opportunity to pick themselves up that $1 million prize pool. We're going to explain the rules a little bit before we talk and get even more excited about the coming Counter-Strike.
Within 10 eligible events. If a team lifts a trophy on one of those, they have 9 events to collect 3 more in order to get the Intel Grand Slam. Victories that happened 10 events ago expire and no longer count. Every team's timeline starts with a tournament victory. That means every contender has their own timeline. The Intel Grand Slam is about marking a team's dominant era, and each group of players writes its own legacy. Once a team is just one victory away from completing the Intel Grand Slam, their opponents have an additional incentive to make it even harder. Any team that denies the competition of the Intel Grand Slam in a tournament final gets an additional $100,000 killer bonus added to their prize. But if a team is dominant enough to win 4 trophies in the past 10 events, they win the Intel Grand Slam, take home $1 million, and mark their era of CSGO. But it doesn't end there. After the Intel Grand Slam is achieved, the race resets for everybody. From the next tournament, all teams start fresh and the chase for 4 trophies starts anew.
And of course, not only FaZe Clan in this race, talking of MIBR, they picked up their first over in Odense for the Pro League Finals. Over on home soil for you, actually, Jacob. Ever in Denmark, we got to see the first for MIBR. And now, what have they got? They've got 3. Picking up the win here would leave them with the likes of New York and Chicago to close things out.
Yeah, and I mean, it's looking tough for MIBR. It is a team that is getting better and better. We have seen the new look with Yanko on the team, but winning 3 events in a row, even FaZe and Astralis probably won't be able to do that in the prime time. So it's a big task for them. I think it'll be great to see if FaZe can do this. I mean, we did see them in the first match going up against Heroic. It wasn't too pretty, but in the second one against Mousesports, it looked like FaZe was back, right? So we don't really know what to expect from them, just that FaZe will probably come out and go for that $1 million. I
mean, there definitely is some real hunger there. Whenever you heard, we spoke to Nico, we spoke to Olof in their group stage wins, and both of them made it abundantly clear that they're here for the mill, but also Nico put on such a show yesterday. I think everyone's getting very excited that we could be seeing some peak form FaZe, or at least some individuals of FaZe at peak form.
Well, the thing is, we don't really know where they are at with all of Meister back in the roster now, tactically speaking. But if the individuals show up, and if Nico gets to do what Nico does sometimes, obviously that puts them in a good position. And I'm a huge fan of this Intel Grand Slam storyline. I mean, the stakes are so high for FaZe, but also for whatever team could maybe, you know, have this killer bonus in the final. So I'm pretty sure like FaZe is happy that MIBR and Astralis are playing early in the tournament. You know, make sure they're not going to face them consecutively in the playoffs.
It's any team, right? Any team that stops FaZe from getting the Grand Slam gets an extra 100K.
If FaZe is in the grand final, any teams that prevents them from this has a 100K killer bonus.
Money makes funny. That's how it is.
Money makes funny. That's the first time I've heard that. I like that. That's good. And we will be right back, of course. We're going to be taking a break, but the reason for that is because the opening ceremony is coming off. Well, there's no better way to kick off Corsair Dream self-machine. We sound like a cliche group of 13-year-olds, but we're hyped all the same. This is going to be amazing. So, up first on our delightful Counter-Strike smorgasbord, we have none other than the boys from Heroic, underdogs in their own right, going up against hometown heroes, and I'm sure there was an extra loud roar when that NIP logo hit the stage, as did the fireworks. Still, we're going to be jumping into this in just a moment's time, so it's time for us to kind of start setting the scene, gentlemen. The globe is packed. Awesome. Second of all, Ninjas in Pajamas have quite a solid shot here, Jacob, of a semi-final run. Maybe those finals aren't impossible either.
Without being disrespectful to Heroic, I think they got the easiest matchup in this quarterfinal, potentially. That said, though, Heroic have been showing high level of Counter-Strike. We saw it yesterday against Optic. They were able to beat the Danish Camerats, and Optic is a great team. We also saw Heroic play against FaZe, where they almost and should have beat them as well. So NIP is not in for an easy one. But when you look at the players, when you look at the experience between these two teams, arguably you have Freiburg on the one side, you have the NIP guys on the other one. But that's it, you know, when it comes to experience, NIP are the big dogs. They are the big guys that have been in this situation time and time again. Whereas for Heroic, this is the first time on a big stage for some of these guys. So a lot of pressure on the Heroic guys, and I do believe that NIP are on the odds, you know, and in the pre-terms should be considered favorites.
We have got a bit of a tasty rivalry once again. We've had this. We had it yesterday. You talk about Heroic, we had Heroic versus Optic, you know, Yugi and Snappy, they leave the team, then they get slapped by the new roster. It's drama, it is, and we have an ex-Ninja going up against the Ninjas in Stockholm, Freiburg going up against his old guard.
Yeah, I think that's always an interesting storyline. Obviously, Freiburg probably extremely motivated. I'm very happy for him that he found a new home, somewhere he can play and be happy and prosper as a player. But I agree with Jacob, I think NIP are favorites here, and I also think NIP is probably one of these teams that get really hyped and energized from the crowd. This is, they can be very influenced by, you know, having everyone behind their back, hyping them up. I think these are emotional players, some of them, most of them. So this is probably the good context for NIP to just go ham.
And we're talking about Freiburg, we're talking about NIP. It would be wrong of us to not mention that the last time they stepped onto a Swedish stage, a DreamHack Masters stage to be more specific on home soil, things looked pretty damn crazy. It was actually in 2016 where we got to see it, and let's remind ourselves of how the old form of Ninjas did when they went on to DreamHack Masters.
And this is it now. Can Navi, can they actually bring this back? Can they take it to overtime? Or will NIP be picking up their title on home turf here in Malmö in a stadium full of their fans?
Behind it, that's Forrest with another one. Flamey with an important refrag, but Get Right is there. Zeus and Edward are left, and they're simply out of time. 30 seconds here. NIP, what a story it's been already. Get Right, and here it comes. NIP, your DreamHack Masters champions.
By no means an easy straw, in my straw analogy. S-Tag, I'd love to have this conversation. And actually, you pulled his stats up, Maniac. He has been a top performer for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think S-Tag deserves some credits. Obviously, he's had rough time in Heroic. He got benched at some point, but ever since he came back, he has played way better. He has put very high number. Just have a few stats here. For example, for the qualifier for this event in Stockholm, 1.27 rating. Okay. When they did third at Valencia. He had 1.20 as well. So currently at 115 during this event. So he's been the heavy hitter, and I don't think he plays easy positions at all. I think he's very decisive. They give him a lot of freedom and also a lot of responsibility that comes with it, and he's been playing really well.
And that's the thing. He lives up to the responsibility he's given by his teammates. We saw it against, I think it was Space, where he was just working around with AVP and making a tough time for Guardian. A guy who's not necessarily known for being an AVP could make a tough fight up against Guardian just because he's so confident and he likes the freedom he has been given by his team. So you're spot on with this, Zach. He's a player that was benched. He's a player that wasn't really highly rated within the Danish scene at a certain point, but he just come back and he's even stronger now. And
you're talking about freedom, talking about how he's thriving within some of that freedom. We had a great interview with Modi yesterday, Jacob, where he talked about the changes in leadership. You actually asked the question, right? Snappy, Asilian, what's going on there? How does it different? And it did seem like he was speaking a lot of positivity towards Asilian's willingness to listen, willingness to accommodate players' desires. What was your take on that?
It's one of those things where there's two different ways of doing it as an in-game leader, right? You can have a hard grip on your team, like Existence, for example. You play with him as well. Like he really wants stuff done in his way, and that's just how it is. And I think Snappy is sort of like the similar person in regards to that. Whereas Asilian is more like the loose guy who's, as you said, open to listen to his teammates. Problem is, if Asilian has an idea, and if he has an idea of how he wants to run his team, but he's too open for suggestions all the time, there may be some conflicts within the team. He may feel he's not even leading the team. He may feel he could do better or call better in certain situations. Whereas if you're Existence or the Snappy type of in-game leader, you're like putting the responsibility on yourself. So if you lose, it's on me, right? So there's some leaders who thrive better with putting all the responsibility on themselves and let that pressure go away from the players, whereas other leaders are okay with putting out that responsibility to the players.
What was your experience playing under that kind of, iron fist leadership style? And of course, I'm not asking you to start throwing Existence under the bus, but genuinely, what was it like to have a leader that tells you what to do and you don't deviate from that?
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to take this opportunity to make a stand. It wasn't really like that to play with Existence.
Okay.
I don't really know why people have painted this picture of him as being extremely strict. I think clearly he had an idea on how he wanted to play Counter-Strike. But the thing is, at least with my experience with Existence, you needed to be able to have a talk and debate. If you disagree with him, you needed to go through the motions of, I don't think this is a good idea. I think we should do this tactic or this way because of A, B, C, D,
It has to be a well-formatted argument. It can't just be, that's bad.
And that's a lot to ask for a young Counter-Strike
Exactly, I think that's how it is. Sometimes in teams, it's a lot for new and young players to have to go through that, to just not be able to say, I don't like this tactic, I don't want to do it. No, that's not how we used to do things. You need to debate. And so I never felt restricted. Existence, our cooperation always went well. So I take this opportunity to say no to that.
All right, well, I'm taking that out of my vocabulary. I'm just pulling it out. Existence is a strict leader. I'll put that on the floor, and it's gone. I've said that multiple times, and finally, we get extra insight from someone who played within the system.
He's more strict than other leaders, right?
Yes.
But I do,
undeniably.
I do feel it's a fair point what you're saying, and it's all about maturity. It's all about having that debate and having that communication within the team. And let's be honest, on a lot of teams, that's not how it works. If you don't like a strat, some guys would just go, "This is stupid. I don't want to do this."
Yeah, and I think now would be a better time than any to start talking maps. Now, I looked at your gorgeous handwriting and notes earlier, and I feel like I've learned a little bit. Why don't you share that insight before we get those bans up on the screen?
So what we know about NIP, Dust 2 has been a perma veto for them recently. They haven't played that map so much. It was also their first veto against Ghost. So I would be surprised to see NIP leaving Dust 2 open. That would be a great punish pick for Heroic. If they don't veto Dust 2, which we can see maybe there's a possibility, then I reckon they would veto Mirage, which has been a very good map for Heroic, not so good for NIP. Still, I would put my money on a Dust 2 ban for NIP. On the Heroic side of things, they have more freedom to choose, I would say. I think both Overpass and Inferno are two maps where I would give NIP the edge. Would it be statistically? Would it be how they play it? So Inferno, Overpass could be a possibility ban for Heroic.
Let's see how the bans play out then, and we'll continue our dialogue from there. And it will be a Mirage ban, so that Dust 2 is open. Interesting. Now, cash removed. Does that surprise you in any way? How's the cash played out?
It does. I am actually surprised to see cash getting removed. I don't think NIP have played it that much recently. Yeah. It has been a good map for them in the past, but I always try when I do my research.
Like 2-3 months.
I try to keep it recent to see how the things are. Surprised by this ban. Let's see how it pans out for
What's
Heroic.
interesting to me in this one is both Dust 2 and Nuke is open now. Because if I were Heroic, I would seriously consider going with Nuke, because that's that comfort pick. Nuke is Heroic's best map, and that's just how it is. That's where they feel comfortable. So if they're thinking we're the favorites in this one, we're better than NIP, they would go for Nuke now.
Okay, let's take a look. Nuke is an opportunity for Heroic to punish the Ninjas, but NIP no slouches on it either. Not forgetting they picked up a huge win, and yes, Heroic go for it. They're taking us to Nuke first in the Ericsson Globe. Overpass, NIP's response.
Yeah, Overpass, as I said, one of the maps that was a punish pick possibility for NIP. They leave it open. Train could have been an option, but I think Heroic have proved throughout the tournament that they definitely can play Train. They are able to rack up T rounds, which is obviously the biggest challenge from Train. So overpass pick for NIP makes sense to me.
Just want to recap. You said that it was between Mirage and Dust 2 for NIP's first ban, right? So is it safe to...
No. I said Heroic could ban Overpass or Inferno. That would be 2 possible bans. So I'm not surprised that NIP would jump on the Overpass occasion.
No, I was just basically asking whether or not that means that they've basically floated Dust 2 to the point where they can ban it in the second phase.
That could be.
Okay, well, let's take a look.
I'm smelling Train right now.
You're smelling a train, and
train.
Jacob, just in the nick of time to look like the savant he is.
That's how it is. I mean, both teams are great on Train. I think this map pool is super exciting, to be honest. I think Nuke, and that's the thing, and that's why I would give NIP the edge in this video. Like, Nuke is not a punish pick by Heroic. They're good on Nuke, they're comfortable on Nuke, but so is NIP. Whereas Overpass is one of those maps where I'm not too sure how Heroic will fare without the Yuki, without the Snappy as an in-game leader. So, in this sense, I would say NIP won the veto, and this could go 2-0 if NIP is actually able to pick up Nuke.
Okay, well, we actually have heard from you, and we'll continue to hear from you in a moment. But who better than the players to talk about this matchup? And we do, of course, have a couple of moments now to take a breath and listen to what the players themselves felt coming into this matchup.
It's a surreal feeling to be through the group stage.
How do they possibly defuse this? The smoke is going to help. Necro's on it. What a hit! Oh my god! Necro following it up, taking down Sub Rosa. They've done it!
A lot of family and friends, all the NIP fans is coming, and it's going to be one amazing show. I think that's where I'm going to create memories.
We were underdogs coming into this tournament.
Did land on stage being the round. Freiburg with triple spray.
We have nothing to lose here, really. We're still underdogs. People don't expect us to beat NIP. People don't expect us to go all the way, but we know that we can beat any team here.
It's gonna be a hell of a match. I'm sure of that, and I think we're gonna give the home crowd a really good show.
I'm hoping that the fans will not only cheer for NIP. I'm hoping that they can share for us as well. Jag har 2 svenskar också i Heroic, så se till att heja på oss också lite.
Corsair DreamHack Masters, NIP is ready for you.
We're in Stockholm, Sweden. Remember that.
When we win against NIP, they won't have a long way home at least.
Okay, Freiburg. He's not pulling any punches. Okay, it looks like we need to take 5 Swedes to the burn unit because Freiburg's in the house. My goodness. Okay, Nuke is our first map, and we're getting closer and closer to getting this game underway. Just a couple of moments now for the players to load into Nuke. That is our first map. Now, we haven't had a chance to ask if we can do this, but if I can ask now with the microphone live, if we could do a drawing board, because Pimp has got himself the Nuke overview from the last time we saw. Is it Heroic on Nuke?
Yeah, we saw Heroic play against Optic yesterday, and there's one particular round and one special round I would like to focus on. As there's some danger zones that NIP has to look out for when you play Heroic against Nuke. It is a strong team, they have the fundamentals right, and it's one of those things where if they haven't done their study, it could be a dangerous scenario for them.
Yeah, okay. It doesn't look like we can break it down just yet, because of course we have to take stock of all these players, these names you are no doubt familiar with. Lecro now on your screens, and interestingly enough, we have got a story here where we have not only Lecro, but Ascillion, 2 players not necessarily unfamiliar with the role, at least not with Ascillion, but young, not necessarily the seasoned veterans of this server, and yet both taking the leadership reins.
Yeah, I think it is very interesting, and I think 2 in-game leaders that are in different positions. On the one hand, you have Lecro. First steps as an in-game leader, obviously not the first tournament, but he's playing with so experienced players that I believe they can make it easy for him. You know, when you play with so experienced players, you don't have to make that much decision. You can trust them to do like all the micromanagement. They're probably going to do it out of experience. Ascillion, on the other hand, of course, Freiburg, Modi, no new player in the Counter-Strike zone, but I think he probably has a little bit more to do. But they said he's open to like opportunities and suggestions from his teammates. So I hope they do and they help him for that.
The biggest difference between these two in-game leaders is one wants to be an in-game leader and the other one has to be an in-game leader.
You're talking about Lekro here.
I'm talking about Lekro. Asilian wants to be an in-game leader. He wants to like drive his career towards that path and become a great in-game leader. Whereas for Lekro, it seems like it's that situation where first it was Dennis, then it was Get Right, then it was Exist, then it was like yada back and forth, and now it's Lekro all of a sudden. So it's not a guy that isn't necessarily going to be an in-game leader in a year from now on, but he has to take upon the role right now, and that's, you know, a dangerous situation because it may make for success now, but in the future.
I will raise my hand here and say MSL was the same. MSL was not thrust into that role and he got good at it, right?
We hired MSL to my team back in the days to make him an in-game leader to work well.
But was that his intention? Did he?
That was his intention while joining the team.
Okay, well, I'll stand corrected. Asilian, though, smiles on his face as he's stepping into this one. Keeping a good vibe. I mean, in fact, you've stepped onto this stage before, Maniac. You've been in the Ericsson Globe. You've won in the Ericsson Globe. That is a fun little tidbit now. But my question is, it is an emotional game, Counter-Strike, right? This is not just about the strat books and the preparation. This is also about managing to keep that booth, keep that atmosphere right.
No, absolutely. I think playing on the stage is something different. It's another factor where you can say what level a team is on. How are you able to play your best game in the high-pressure situation? And here we hear the crowd on Friday. Yeah, but I mean, playing on stage is at the same time is the most challenging and difficult things, but at the same time the most beautiful. That is what you train for, that's what you practice for. And yeah, I have to say it gives me a little chill, you know, see the stage I've stepped on, I've won on, that's just cool. The icing on the cake, but yeah. Globe was amazing experience.
And that's an interesting head-to-head right here, because we have the two star riflers from each team. We have Estec, as you just mentioned before, it had a very good tournament, have had a very good period ever since he came back from being benched. Going up against Rez, who is, to me, he's one of the best aimers in the world. He has such a crisp aim and such a on-point aim. It's just not always he's feeling it, right? So if he can have a good game, going up against an Estec with a good game, we're going to have two very capable riflers going up against each other. Not at the level of a Nico and Symbol, but close.
Yeah, and I just want to give a little bonus about Rez. It feels to me that whenever he is having a very good performance, so is NIP. So it's just stats out of the blue. When NIP won GMAC Open Valencia, he had 132. When NIP qualified at the major for the major, he had 116. And when NIP won Oakland, he had 128. So it feels like, yes, he has been inconsistent in the past, of course, but whenever he's hitting that peak, then that's when NIP is winning.
I need to remind you of the Oakland run where they beat teams they had no right to be beating at that tournament, lifting the IEM trophy, and of course giving them a step closer towards that Grand Slam at the time. But it's these peaks from Rez. You can see him on your screens now. Does he reach that here? Does that accelerate NIP to cause more upsets?
It feels like it. He's cruising right now, 133.
133?
So he's having, that's what I'm saying, he's having one of these tournaments that could turn into a deep NIP run on the back of, notably, a very good Rez performance.
And that's the thing about Rez. If he has a good tournament, if he gets off to a good start, he's usually going to continue that way. Whereas if he gets off to a bad start, it's not going to happen. I will say though, I mean, Rez going up as Estec, I do feel there's a little bit of difference in like level comparisons. I do feel Estec is a guy that hasn't shown as much as Rez has, especially on the big stages now. I don't know about Rez, you know, because he's young as well, and so is Estec, so the pressure will probably get to the both of them, but who's going to be able to handle that? We have seen Rez last year in Malmö, I believe, playing on the stage, so he's tried it before. Whereas Estec, he was benched, now he's back, and all of a sudden he's fighting himself on a stage in a quarterfinal against the home favorites. There's a lot of pressure on these relatively unexperienced and young guys.
And talking of an experience, one player I'd love to highlight now is that of Mertz, just because I do think he kind of got thrown to the wolves a little bit with his basically first foray into Tier 1 Counter-Strike. You were thrown into a North roster, an in-game leader who's never had a powerful AWPer. He was regarded as a powerful AWPer. Admittedly, he does clearly have his faults. I mean, it's not going to be you'd never kick a player who's perfect. But I can't help but feel there is a ceiling to this guy that is astronomically high.
I think he's widely considered by many in Denmark and also in Europe to be one of the most interesting prospects of the future. We have Yuki in Denmark being by far the best AVP right now, together with Device, obviously, but in terms of talent. And then we have Mertz, who is by some considered just as good as Yuki, but they're two different styles of AVPing, where Yuki is this super flashy AVP. He's just doing a lot of, I wouldn't say dumb plays, but a lot of like feeling plays where he just goes off.
Simple and JW category plays.
Yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't always make sense, but he makes it work. Whereas Mertz is a little bit more calculated. And I think for Mertz, it was a good thing he was in North. It was a good learning experience for him to learn from some of the best in Denmark, learn from him as well how to be this defensively and be this strict AWPer in a system that didn't necessarily work for him. Now he's coming into Asilian, who we just talked about, is this more loose style, so he can use the best of both worlds, and hopefully that can define his career from now
I have good news for you, Jacob. The drawing board is ready. We can show them. So you said you were bringing up a game from the last time we saw Heroic on Nuke.
Yeah, we saw Heroic play against Optic yesterday on Nuke, and this is one of the things that NIP has to be...
Can you full screen it so we can get rid of all of that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Hang on a second. I'm going to fiddle.
You're going to help us out here. Anyway,
Abracadabra.
We're going to keep talking. It is 11-11. It's a high-pressured moment in the game, and we're just going to let the run out, because it's a default standard round for Heroic in this scenario. You can see all the smokes right now flying out towards the yard area right here, so they're going to block off the entire yard area. I'm going to stop the demo in just a second and show you guys basically what happens and what thing goes through Optic's mind when that happens. So you can see right now, the entire yard area is completely smoked off. So Yuki has no idea whatever these guys, or in this case only Freiburg, is going down towards under or whatever he's not. So right now they're locked out from information, which means that Snappy has to play inside warehouse. He has to stand there and he has to listen whatever he can hear something go under or not. Yuki is trying to see if he can see over the smoke to maybe get a lucky kill through the smoke, while Heroic is just setting up to go inside right now. The interesting part about this is, if we let it run out, Freiburg is the only guy outside. So normally when you do this, you have 2 or 3 guys going down lower, putting on pressure, but that's not the plan for Heroic right now. Now what Heroic wants is to spread Optic's defense out thin, so they want to spread out the rotation, and that's what Freiburg is doing right here.
Can you pause it a second?
Yes, sir.
Where's Config? What's Config up to?
Yeah, that's the thing. So Config is afraid, since Yuki and Snappy can't see anything out yet, so he has to go lower. He's down lower now, holding the under bomb side. So you already brought him away from inside. So that leaves Cajun all by himself inside right now. He's defending inner bomb side alone. Now what you would like to see Yuki do is be the backup right here for Cajun, right? So you have 2 guys inside. What happens though is that Freiburg starts running out here, so he makes a lot of noise, which means that Snappy, who is in this position, he has Freiburg, so he's calling to Config. There's a guy under, maybe 2 guys, right? And that makes Yuki go towards ramp, because now Heroic, or now Optic, sorry, will make Optic think that it's a... if we
a base split.
It's a B split. So they're going to be 2 guys towards ramp, they're going to be 2 guys towards lower, and 1 guy sitting in warehouse, and Cajun all alone inside. What Heroic does, walks outside, inside is clear, and that's how you spread out a defense thin on Nuke. So that's something NIP has to be super, super aware of. They need to read the game better than Optic did, and they need to be aware that this is a strat that Heroic is going to pull off 1 or 2 times throughout this game.
I can't wait for this one to go down, and Nuke is our first map. Thank you so much, Jacob. Predictions now are in order. And I am so split. I kind of love Freiburg. I like that he whipped out a banana.
Yours first, Alex.
Can I go first? I don't know if the graphics guy's ready for that, but I'll have a go. Okay. I am kind of buying into the NIP hype train. I did just watch them when we looked at that 2016 lifting the trophy, and
it made something. Huh?
It did. It gave me a tingle. Okay, I'm going to go for NIP here. However, I do love the Heroic strand of more revenge and more underdogs overstepping their expectations. But Ninjas for me. Maniac.
Because of the maps, because of the experience, and because of the hype/emotions, I'm also going to go for NIP, and it might be a 2-0. I agree with Jacob. I think the maps are prone for a 2-0 NIP.
It's boring, right, if I say NIP too?
I'm super sorry.
But you can get us hyped about Heroic and then say NIP. I'll give you that cop-out.
I think Heroic is going to do a really, really good job against NIP. I think Heroic already now have exceeded our expectations, and I think they're going to give NIP a fist fight right here. I think it's going to be a super, super close game. But as I said, the maps is favoring NIP. I do think the experience is favoring towards NIP. The fact that you have so many experienced players on NIP going up against these youngsters who is still relatively new within this level of Counter-Strike, I just don't see it happen over best of 3. So NIP is going to win this. It could be 2-1, could be 2-0, but it's going to be 2 good games, and the crowd is definitely going to help out NIP to win this one.
Not forgetting Heroic's current results coming into this this playoff match. They got a very close overtime loss versus FaZe Clan. Then they went in to beat Fnatic in a full 3-map best of 3.
That's the reason Fnatic is not in the globe, right?
And then, of course, a 2-0 versus Optic game, their Danish brethren, who many favoured. That's not been a bad run, but now NIP stand in their way, and it's on home soil. Let's see what you guys in the chat are saying. I know what the guys in the arena are saying, but those of you watching at home are giving NIP the edge as well. Seems like there's a general consensus that's suggesting that the Ninjas could be stepping into the semi-final stage tomorrow, and I want to know what our casters are thinking. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. We're going to sit back, relax, and watch this one, as are you guys at home, as are you guys in the Ericsson Globe. But let's see what our casters are saying, as your casters and voices for this first game are going to be Jason Moses O'Toole and Mr. Anders Bloom. What are you saying, gentlemen? What are you feeling? Are you getting excited as well?
I'm getting super excited. I'm a little bit disappointed Anders didn't do his whole boxing thing.
We can get that, Moses, if you want.
Yeah.
I said we should do some sparring every once in a while, you know?
Take it to the gym, have a little exchange points and everything. Yeah,
I think weight class is roughly equal, so we'll make that work, no problem. I'm super excited. I think this is great. Swedish team on home soil, always a good time. And the fact that Freiburg is playing his old teammates, I think, is amazing. And I really don't think you should underestimate how much the Swedish crowd is going to like Freiburg as well. Individually, just as a brand, I mean, he's a lovable guy. There's no getting around it.
One of the favorite sons, and he's on a primarily Danish team as well. So a little bit of a traitor in a way, but still, I mean, we heard some cheers when he walked out onto the stage and everything like that. So yeah, that's going to be a very fun little revenge story going on, a battle of the old teammates. One of the second player from that vaunted NIP lineup to get dropped from the team. So maybe a little bit of sore emotions, but I think this heroic team is a little bit underrated.
They do have a lot of power in this lineup, and I don't know. I mean, the NIP that we saw, they obviously made it through the playoffs, but there were some bumps in the road. It wasn't all smooth sailing, so I wonder if this is going to work out so easily. I could definitely see 3 maps here. And the fact that we have Nuke and Overpass and Train, I mean, this is an interesting map pool as well.
I was going to say, we don't get these 3 maps in a series too frequently. Like, this is like all the least favored maps usually.
Yes.
I mean, what an interesting way to start the day. Going to be very fun. We have the knife round going on right now. Forrest is playing with the camera as usual.
Yeah, that is his thing, isn't it? Nuke, we've seen a lot of Nuke in this tournament, and we've had some great games on it. So I'm kind of excited. It seems like people are scared of Dust 2 for some reason.
Yeah, like no one's really too comfortable with it. And I guess that always kind of happens with a new map coming in. You have like some teams who are just really, really good on it, and then you have to wait a while before other teams are motivated to put in that work. Either way.
Very interesting indeed. Who's your pick for this, Moses? You've got to pick one team.
Oh, that's harsh. I think this is actually super close of a series. I think this could actually go either way. I'm gonna pick NIP just for the love of the home crowd thing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that I think it's gonna have like that big of an impact, but I just kind of want to see a Swedish team stay in this arena as long as humanly possible. Which, I mean, oddly enough, would probably just be the semifinals.
It could well be. It's a really rough bracket on this side. You're gonna run into what, either Astralis or MIBR. Astralis or MIBR.
Yeah, that's no fun, is it? Although, I mean, to be fair, remember, NIP did win that first DreamHack Malmo, the very first DreamHack Masters event that we had, and that was a miraculous run in and of itself.
Yeah.
That was, I remember that side of the bracket that they were on, every single time they played a series was like, listen, NIP, they've shown good things, it's all well and good, but this is where the buck stops. This is where they're just outmatched way too much. And they just kept winning, so you never know.
You see Heroic in a bit of a huddle here. I am going to have to go for NIP as well. I think Forrest and Rez are going to drag them through this game. I think they're going to be super motivated. And yeah, I think especially Rez is the guy that I'm looking for here. I still think that we've only seen the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this guy. Super young player, a little bit nervous in the beginning. I mean, can you really blame him playing with the likes of Get Right and Forrest? You know that's going to be a bit of pressure. He's done it for a while now.
Right.
I think this is going to be a big event for him.
Yeah, I really like what we've seen out of Rez in his development. I mean, it's telling as well. Whenever we've talked to the NIP guys, at events, since they picked him up, it's been a while now, but they only have good things to say about Rez. Not only about his abilities, but about how hard he works and how much he improves. And then, obviously, Get Right and Forrest, always fun. Forrest has been playing well this event. Dennis, I feel like, still hasn't kind of hit that top level, that top gear that he can get to with this NIP roster.
I agree, actually.
And if ever was a time to step up, it would be now. Fist bumps are out. Players are ready. Freeze time counting down. Stockholm, the first quarterfinal begins.
Yeah, let's get this game underway. It's going to be Nuke starting off here, the quarterfinals, and I just can't wait for this to go live. NIP starting on the CT side, Heroic on the T side, but as we know in this version of Nuke, that might not mean everything. You'll see if they can pick up the pistol around here. Already, Forrest, the door exploding, and Muddy's gone before the dust even settles, and Rez will take down Freiburg and falling back into safety. Oh no, how does Electro get Dennis killed? There wasn't even any firefight, was there? Forrest, more headshots though. We swiftly just move past that little moment of embarrassment as Forrest just continues hitting headshots left and right. It's 3 of them right now, and he's looking for the last one here. Ascillion all alone in a 1 versus 3. No bomb plant, and they've got him blocked in. Forrest goes back for more. He wanted the quad kill, and he'll get it as well.
That's the kind of Forrest you want to see open things up, active on the map, engaged, chasing down kills. He said it in that interview. He said he doesn't want to be an in-game leader. He's just a guy who's always just shot headshots throughout his career. That's what he wants to focus on, and this time you can see him going hunting. A beautiful pistol round for him, and if that gets him started, if that gets him heated up already, Heroic's in for a real tough time. We saw NIP actually, remember, they dominated Ghost Gaming on this map, and Ghost, we saw the very next day, no slouches on Nuke, so NIP going to be dangerous. Freiburg now, hoping someone's going to walk into his crosshair. It's Electro to open things up with the scout.
Yeah, clean headshot, taking down S-Tag. They do have some upgraded armor and pistols on that heroic side, which is quite natural since they did not get the bomb plant down, so no real surprises yet. Some of the games yesterday were just force-up upon force-up, so we'll see if it's going to be a bit more back to standard now, or if we're going to continue the madness.
Right through the smoke. This is a bit of a duel outside. Heroics, this is some nice patience allowing the scout to go for a pick. Trying to tag some players for the Deagles to have an early cleanup, but equally NIP is countering it so well, using very tough angles. Lekro pulls out the pistol. Not committed. He's only at 24, and Get Right. All the meanwhile, the lurker. No one watching for this, and that shotgun is coming into play from behind, and Get Right's going to be able to get a second.
What, Moses, if I was going to go for a sneak ninja play, you know, silent creeping around, I don't know if I'd bring the auto shotgun. It doesn't stay, you know.
Yeah, you don't stay hidden for long, do you? But at the same time, I mean, you know, when you hear that noise behind you rather than in front of you, that's got to be, you know, it's a brown pants moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Second round for NIP. They were quite careful not to overdo heroic out there. Like they really kept it safe. Smart play.
You gotta, oh, great utility work in Lekro. He's got out in the open. He's gotta fight this. He gets both kills. He can fall away now. He's in a lot of pressure, but Forrest is here as well, and nobody falls. Lekro goes low, but NIP shuts it down outside. 3-0 very quickly, and now the AK is gonna come out for heroic.
Yeah, job well done for NIP. Not losing anybody in that round, and only 3 kills right now on the heroic side, but it doesn't really matter. It's pretty much early on. AWP picked up from Rez, and Get Right sticks with the auto shotgun, which is not a big surprise either. We'll see what Heroic can do here on the T side once they have rifles. So many cool strats we've seen lately. Some of those A-rushes have been really impressive. Maybe Heroic can find a way to duplicate some of that. So far, Freiburg is the one lurking outside, and they've got the whole wall up, so he can easily make it down if he wants to.
Yeah, Dennis is down there on the stairs waiting at old Freiburg. He's not going to be going anywhere. Too low of HP now. He's got to sit out of the fight. He kind of gets turned into a very passive, maybe a flank watcher, maybe a lurker, but he cannot be on the front lines. Lekro again dinks up Mertz, finishes him off as well. Trying to cross when the smoke wall disappears. And that's what you get.
What an angle that is from Lekro. He's looking through the railing and the stairs. Very, very hard to spot, although S-Tag not having any problems with it. Forrest is going to be taking down Modi. It's still a 3-on-4 here, and they're dropping quite low. Rez will take down Asilian, and I think that's probably going to be the round here. NIP just need to play it smart now. Time. Oh my god. That looked like it was about to go straight through the wall, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did. I mean, Freiburg's going to go down no matter what. There's Dennis popping up the right moment. S-Tag, that one kill, the only kill in the round. They know he's outside. They know he was in the warehouse. All they can really hope to do is take guns away. But NIP playing it smart in this situation. No one moving. Everyone just watching angles. They have the bomb down, back towards the T entrance, and now they have a better idea of where he is, and Dennis closes it down. This is scary. I don't know if it's because Freiburg got brought so low so quickly, but that's stalled out. And I mean, listen, you can't run the gauntlet outside. There's so much emphasis on that from the defense every single round that, you know, if you try and cross that with no smokes, you're just going to lose too much, whether it's HP, whether it's players in general.
Yeah, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, right, Moses? And maybe the plan was for Freiburg to go down secret stairs. But you're right, when he's on 9 health, you might be like, I'm not really going to make it through this hallway, guys. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe it was him to get down and do something on his own solo to kind of cause, you know, distraction or wreak havoc in the defense. Look at the utility now coming through, and again, it's only one player. It's only Freiburg. Does it better this time, and Dennis, that Molotov, going to hold him off, and he's going to get a new angle.
The perfect kind of start for NIP in front of the home crowd. Dennis, smoke is just perfect. You see them going back and forth on the other side, and Get Right. Oh, if they come back here, he's going to chew them up. This auto shotgun. This is not a corner you check. You maybe are ready for him to be in hut. It's very, very hard to see this coming, and he actually gets the kill on Modi straight away. Did take a little bit of damage from the CZ-75, so might just want to fall back and play it safe. They're going to catch him. Not bad at all. Forrest still getting headshots. A little bit of spray will eventually get himself killed, but it's just fine. Losing 2 people is acceptable for NIP in a round like this. They're still building money. Let's see what Heroic can do. I haven't seen anything out of them yet that makes me think they're ready to sort of take control back of this game.
No, and the tough part is they haven't really done a great job of even getting kills in some of these rounds. So NIP has a great bank as well. If you're a Heroic, you got to win 2 or 3 in a row before you're going to have the reprieve of a save round or a half buy. I think this might slow down. You might try and allow Mertz with the AWP to get something. Astillion. Yeah, that trying to spam through the smoke. Actually, it's quick. And, oh, how did he get that? Switches out to the AK. He builds upon it. And Blackbro to save him. And they keep pushing. They keep pushing the envelope, but it's not working.
An absolutely illegal brand of Counter-Strike coming out from Forest. Mighty jumping and still hitting headshots. Rez will take down Modi, and now it's all on Mertz. They've got to be wondering. He was so quick around the corner. He was just jumping and flying into Mini. And somehow that did not work. I don't think I've seen that very often.
Sideswiped him, didn't he?
Outrageous.
Unreal. 5-0. It's about to be 6-0. And again, this is, I mean, I thought they were going to slow it down. They finally got Mertz on the AWP. He did find one kill, but it's in a 1 versus 5. I don't even